Hey everybody, welcome to Mondo Comics. I'm your host Armando Ortega, and today I have something that I want to talk to you guys about, see if you can help me out here or we can exchange ideas. You see, I was online the other day and I came across this picture. You can pause the video if you need more time to read it. Anyways, that picture got me thinking. Thor, Black Widow, Cap, and Iron Man got shown something by Scarlet Witch, either a vision about their future or a vision about their past or their possibility of how their future might turn out. But the thing is, she showed Hulk something else also, but the movie didn't tell us or show us what she showed the Hulk. What we do know is whatever she showed him caused him to go on a mindless rampage and destroy buildings, take lives and everything, that Tony Stark had to intervene with that kick-ass Hulkbuster armor. But what got me thinking is, what did she show him? I have my ideas, and I'm sure a lot of other people that you listen to or you have talked to have told you their ideas, and maybe mine is similar to theirs, but here are my ideas of what I think she may have showed him. You see that this Hulk is a lot different than the Hulk that we saw in the end of the first Avengers film and what we saw in the beginning of the Age of Ultron film. You see, in the end of Avengers film, you see that he was able to control the Hulk a lot more. He was able to think about what he was doing, the way he was acting, the things that he did, and was able to control himself a lot more. And in the beginning of the Age of Ultron film, you see that Black Widow had to calm him down towards the end of their mission, but he was a lot more in control though. Although he still needed help, he was able to control who was his enemy and who was his, ally. But after Scarlet Witch showed him something in his mind, even though Tony Stark came, even though he knows Tony Stark as an ally, somebody he fights with, he still went off on him. He still went on a mindless rampage. He still went to go smash everything and everyone he could. Now, why would the Hulk attack Tony Stark? The man that we saw in the end of the first Avengers film actually saved Tony Stark from falling to his death. Clearly they showed that they were friends. Clearly the Hulk showed that he was able to know who Tony Stark was and able to distinguish him as a friend, but why would he attack him here if there wasn't something that he saw in his mind? What I think, of course, is what I guess a lot of other people think, that they're setting up something for the future. And what I think is that Hulk saw something in his mind as betrayal. He went off on Tony Stark, a friend, he knows he's his friend, but he went off on him, smashing him, trying to destroy his Hulkbuster armor, and trying to kill him, because the Hulk doesn't hold back. But what would be one of the reasons why somebody will go off on a friend that they had for a very long time, trying to, beat the hell out of them? One of the answers would be betrayal. And where was the betrayal in the comic book world? The most notable one and the most recent one is Planet Hulk storyline. You see, after Hulk went off on a rampage in Los Angeles, killing I don't know how many people, the Illuminati that I believe in the time consisted of Iron Man, Hulk, Namor, Doctor Strange, Mr. Fantastic, Professor Xavier, and I'm not sure who else. They all got together, had a meeting of what they would do to the Hulk, and everybody minus Xavier and Namor voted that they were gonna go and send the Hulk to a different planet, so he couldn't hurt himself, he couldn't hurt anybody else or anything else. And the way they did that is that they managed to trick the Hulk into going to a spaceship. I believe they knocked him out. It's been a while since I read that story. And while they were sending Hulk to a designated planet, Hulk managed to wake up during his flight. He was already in space at that point, going off to wherever they were going to send him. And an automatic video transmission came in that showed all the members of the Illuminati. At that point, Hulk, of course, felt betrayed. Hulk felt like his friends just gave up on him. His friends just thought he was a monstrosity, and the only way to resolve that problem is to send him to a different planet, to not deal with him anymore, not to do anything with him. Of course, that got the Hulk really mad, understandably, and that caused him to rampage inside the spaceship, damaging it, breaking it, messing everything up, and that's when his rocket got knocked off course and he went to the planet Sakaar. And that's when he found out that that planet is inhabited with other beings that are just as strong as the Hulk. And that sets up Planet Hulk, and after Planet Hulk, it sets up World War Hulk, and that is one of my favorite stories. It's one of the most badass Hulk stories out there. It's really great. I mean, I don't know who hasn't read it, who calls himself a comic fan, but if by any chance you don't read it, that's okay. Go to your comic shop, go to Amazon, wherever, and go get that comic. They're awesome. There's one of the strongest forms that the Hulk ever was. I mean, he got stronger later on as the Hulk story has progressed, but that's one of the strongest, and it's amazing. I'm not gonna spoil too much for you. Well, that's my thoughts, because as you see at the end of Age of Ultron, you see Hulk turning off every form of communication that anybody else in the Avengers or S.H.I.E.L.D. can reach to him in that one jet, turns it off and just goes, and we don't know what happened to him. We don't. No one ever tells us anything. Nobody ever shows us anything. The movie just stops the Hulk story right there. So right now, all we know is that anything can happen. And for me, it looks like it probably will be the World War Hulk storyline. I mean, that outrage, that rampage that Hulk caused in that giant ass city where he had to fight Tony Stark, and it showed like he just wanted to kill Tony, does support my idea of what the Hulk could have seen in his mind when Scarlet Witch, you know, took over it. And it does kind of support what happens in the beginning of World War Hulk. You see, when Hulk finally came back to Earth to declare war on all of Earth's heroes, one of the most epic battles in the very beginning was Hulk against Tony Stark. And you know what Tony Stark was using? Of course, he was using a new upgraded Hulkbuster, bigger and more heavier and more deadlier than the one we saw in the movie or in other comic books. It was an awesome fight. It was a brutal fight. It was incredible. And that is what happened. So when Age of Ultron happened and that scene came up, that kind of brings in two similarities from Age of Ultron to World War Hulk. Maybe Hulk was living that fight before that fight ever even happened. And that's what I think the Hulk saw in his mind, in his vision. His friends, future friends that he would have had, just thinking that the best way to deal with the Hulk is to send him to a different planet, to space, to suffer all those events that happened to him, having to fight for his life, having to fight those he called friends, and feeling that sense of betrayal, feeling that sense of my friends just abandoned me. And it doesn't help that in the end, finally when he gets declared king and he finally falls in love, he finds somebody he could have kids with. His ship that he came into the planet Sakaar in exploded, this huge explosion, killing everybody, including his people, including his wife, including his future kid, except the Warbound. And you know, he was getting over being sent to a different planet, but the fact that the ship that he came in here with exploded, he felt that that was just the plan from everybody in Earth to make the Hulk suffer even more. And that's when the World War Hulk storyline commenced. That was just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think and everything. This is what I personally think might happen, maybe not. Hopefully there's a World War Hulk movie, because if you read the comic, you just would see how epic that would look on screen. I mean, like, I thought about it so many times in my mind, and it just looks incredible. It just looks so destruction worthy, and it looks like once you get in there and the movie starts, it's just non-stop fighting, and that is one badass movie. Anyways, thank you for joining me again. This is a video of Mondo Comics, and I will see you next week. Have a good one.